Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to today's edition of Daily Connections. This is Seneca Waugh with your clear next step. It's your step, not mine. It's about clarity before action. It's about figuring out what's next. And it's about actively taking that next step. What's the very next thing you can do? And this Daily Connections is part of our mission here at Your Clear Next Step to help people have better work days. So whether your work days find you remote in your own, perhaps in your own workspace, or in a living room space or a couch space that you never expected to be a working environment, or whether you are still going to an office or going to someplace to get work done. Or whether your work doesn't involve anyone else at all, and it is about taking care of you and your space or your family, and doesn't involve necessarily an employer at all. The idea is that we can still have better days, so that we can have better evenings and better weekends and contribute to better communities. So today's topic is on the idea of watch your words. Watch your words, guard your words. There's a famous quote out there. It's been attributed to Gandhi. It's been attributed to Margaret Thatcher. I heard someone point out it was Meryl Streep who said it. It's actually Meryl Streep when she's playing Margaret Thatcher. Truthfully, the quote has evolved over time, and it's been used in a lot of settings and a lot of different environments. But the words will, I think, ring somewhat familiar to you. Guard your thoughts, for your thoughts become your words. Guard your words, for your words become your actions. Guard your actions, for your actions become your habits. And guard your habits, for your habits become your character. So that's an excerpt of a longer quote. But as I got to thinking about this, that idea of guarding your words and being so careful about your words. And we're faced hundreds of times every day with the opportunity to guard our words. And somewhere years ago, I teach this in our project management classes and our Get More Done Now classes, that somewhere along the line, someone did a study about when we're focused really hard on one thing, we sometimes forget to do other things, right? The idea being that if you are really laser focused on solving a crisis or solving a problem, you may forget the other things that you're doing, like being nice or continuing the conversation or those kinds of things. That's why we set timers on the oven, because if we get in the zone, if we get really focused on something, we may forget the other thing we were doing. And I think right now, with so much of our mental energy and so much of our emotional energy and so much of our even physical well-being focused right now on dealing with the reality and the crisis state that we're in, and the uncertainty and the wondering what's going to happen next, and the physical distancing that is really taxing for so many of us. I think in those cases we can forget the little things that we already know, like, oh, be careful, little mouth, what you say, right? Oh, be careful, little words, what come out. And I think that today's message is really helping us remember that. So let me make a quick case for why it matters that we guard our words. In my upbringing, we moved around a lot. My dad was in the Navy, and every 9 to 18 months, we packed up everything and wound up in a new location. And at every new location, Mom would volunteer to speak and share the children's sermon at our church. And so I heard this sermon a lot of times, because every time we moved, Mom would volunteer to do it in the new church. And she would do this object lesson where she'd take a plate and squirt toothpaste out of a toothpaste tube onto the plate and hand it to one of the kids in the children's time, and say, here, while I talk to the rest of the group, why don't you work on just putting that toothpaste back in the tube, right? And she give the kid the plate and the toothpaste and a toothpick, trying to get it back in. And of course, the toothpaste doesn't go back in the tube, right? We know this. The toothpaste doesn't go back in the tube. And so it is with our words. Once those words are spoken, you can't unspeak them. You can't take them back. We can apologize for them. We can restore. We can do things to make them better, but we can't take them back. You can't make them unheard or unsaid. So here's a different example of why we need to guard our words. Think about the people that you know who have heard messages, or maybe it's yourself, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a story or a movie that you've seen, where someone heard those messages of, well, you're such a failure at XYZ. You're so bad at that. You stink at that. You're really lousy at that. And it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy that over and over and over again, people hear, well, you're so bad at that. You're so bad at that. You're bad at math. You're bad at sports. You're bad at this. And they hear it over and over, and then they start to believe it. And then they start to distance themselves from whatever that thing was. And then it starts to become true, right? You tell me I'm bad at math, so I won't do math. And then eventually, yeah, you're right. I'm going to be bad at math because I'm not doing it. it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or in the more hopeful way, right? The inverse is also true. Think about the affirmations and the encouragement that you can give someone. I know you can do this. I believe in you. I think you got it. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can, said the little engine that could, right? And he found that he could. And so those words have power. So words, we need to guard our words because words once spoken, they cannot be unspoken. And we need to guard our words because words have lasting impact. And I think we also need to guard our words because words can inflame immediately. Even taking aside the longer term or the lasting impact, there is an immediate impact of our words. Think about those times when you were in a situation and perhaps the first retort that came off your tongue, like you just said it, and then it immediately sparked someone else who then sort of escalated as well, and tensions got higher and higher in that moment. We've all been there. We've all experienced it at some point. And I think those words, when we're not careful, they can really cause a quick escalation. They can cause a quick sort of inflammation, especially when tensions are running high anyway. I'm not sure we need those matches. So guard your words. There's my case for why we should guard our words. Okay, well, it wouldn't be a Seneca conversation if we didn't talk about how. Okay, great. Now we know we should, but why? I mean, how? How do we do that? So 3 simple steps on this one. The first step is wait. Wait. Pause. Slow down. Breathe. Take a sip of your beverage. Whatever it takes for you to, before you speak, to think. This works in meetings. This works when you're sitting at your desk and someone interrupts you. This works on phone calls. It works on Zoom. It works at the dinner table. It works when you're working on something and someone approaches in the room and you weren't expecting them. Just be slow to speak. If you're in a hurry, be quick to listen. If you want to hurry at something, listen fast, right? Before speaking, run back through what the person just said and make sure you heard them correctly. If you're going to hurry to listen. Don't hurry to speak. Be slow to speak. Just pause. Just slow down. We're moving so fast in so many things. Slowing to speak is really, really valuable. There's a quote from the book of James 1:19. Let everyone be quick to listen and slow to speak, which also will help us be slow to anger. So here's step 2. So first, step 1 is wait, pause, slow down, whatever it takes. Step 2, run a silent draft and imagine the outcome. Run a silent draft and imagine the outcome. So what does that mean? Play it through your head. So we're already slow to speak and we're trying really hard to listen. In this next thing, before you speak out loud, play it through in your head. You can do this fairly quickly, but try those words out loud in your head and consider the impact. First, consider like the immediate impact on the audience. What's going to happen? But then consider the longer impact on the audience. Run the Socratic test. We've blogged about this in the past. Is it true? Is it good? Is it helpful? Right? If it's none of those 3, then just don't say it. Consider the people who might also hear, the innocent bystanders who might be a little bit further away, but who might still be able to hear you. What's going to be the impact on them? So especially in these places where we're surrounded during the workday by family, many folks are at home and their kids are now at home too. Be so careful what you say and how maybe you're saying it to the person that you're having the Zoom call with or the phone conversation with, but you now have little ears in the house who could hear you say that, and be aware of the lasting impact of that. So step 1, wait. Slow down. Step 2, run a silent draft and imagine the outcome. Step 3, fix it. Fix it. If anything you're about to say is coarse or cruel or harsh or unnecessary or will have a momentary or lasting negative effect, then just don't. Just stop. Don't say it. Focus instead, replace it. Don't leave a void there, but replace it instead with something good. Shift your mindset to something good and positive and uplifting and hopeful and pleasant, right? Think about something nice. I long for a very, very long time, a verse that has been a foundation in my life has been from Philippians 4:18. My kids will quote it back to you. You know, whatever is true, whatever is lovely, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is worthy of praise and excellent. Think about these things, right? Think about these things. Don't think about the garbage. Don't think about the noise. Don't think about the crud. Don't think about the frustrating things. Think about what's good. And this is actually a really powerful example for us because there was that study that showed that if 100 things happen to us in the day, and if 96 of them are good, but 4 are bad, our human instinct is to focus on those 4 that are bad. But we just have 96 other things that we can choose from that are positive. And so when you're about to say something, when we're guarding our words, that third step is to fix it, to focus on something good. So you got 96 things to choose from, right? Don't choose those last 4. Choose from the 96 good ones. Think about something good and positive and uplifting. So, okay, Seneca, in theory, this sounds lovely, but like, you don't know my life and you don't know how conversations go. And how is this really going to play out? And this just sounds like fluff. So let me try one. How about imagining a situation like this where after a work day, everybody's kind of gone to their separate corners. We didn't get to leave. We didn't get to drive. We didn't get to clear our heads in our commute like many of us do in the past. And now, poof, we're suddenly back in the kitchen again for dinner. And someone says, how was your day? A friendly, innocuous enough conversation, right? But because you remember the things that have happened, the 96 things that were mildly irritating in your day and the way that it was harder today, your first response, or mine maybe, I won't tell, first response is something like, well, crappy, same as yesterday. This is hard. I don't like it like this, right? Your first instinct is this, it was a crappy day. Thanks for asking, right? Okay, well, don't say that. So let's try it a different way. How was your day? Don't speak. Breathe. Take a sip of my beverage. Run a silent draft and imagine the outcome. I'm about to say it was crappy. How will my husband feel when that's what I say? How will my daughter feel if that's what I say? How will my colleague feel if that's what I say? What if they have good news to share and I say crappy? Now they can't say the good thing that they were going to say. What if they're hurting and they need me to be the positive one and I say crappy and they're like, well, I guess I can't tell her what's wrong with me. What if my mood is impacting their ability and they're trying so hard to be positive? What if I'm the one bringing them down? Okay, silent draft says we got to fix it. All right, fix it. Fix it. What do I do? Well, at one moment today, there was that funny thing that happened. I got a good response from customer A on something. Oh, there was that moment. And I reached my hand into the chocolate jar for one, and it was my favorite one that came out, right? Maybe there's something nice. There was a noise at the window and I looked and it was the cat scratching at the window to say hello. That was a nice moment. Maybe you did have a crappy day. Maybe there were some really monumentally tough things that happened in your day. I've had days like that. I had them in the last week, frankly. But there are always good things if we look for them. There are always good things that we can find. And so I invite you to just fix it. If what you're thinking is, I had a crappy day, just fix it, see if it's true. Because maybe you didn't really have a crappy day. And maybe there are some things that you can focus on that were positive. Maybe even overall it was on balance, it was kind of unpleasant, but there are good things you can talk about. Focus on those good things. Focus on the positive because you can't take those words back. So that's my sort of inspiration for the day. It's guarding your words. We should guard our words because once we say them, we can't take them back. We should guard our words because they can have lasting impacts and they can have immediate inflammatory impacts. And if we want to guard our words, we got to slow down. We got to run a draft in our head, and then we got to fix it by focusing on something positive.